Welcome back, everyone, to Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming Everything podcast. I'm Bobby C, and this is As Bobby C Sees It. Now, people will be saying, why are you talking about the new big book they're coming out with? It's called Plain Language Big Book. I want to title this The New Fifth Grade AA Big Book. I'm going to tell you why I'm titling The New Fifth Grade AA Big Book. They had to make a change. They had to make a change. Let me go through some statistics with Alcoholics Anonymous. People will say, Bobby, why are you talking about this? I'm not even in Alcoholics Anonymous anymore. I'm deprogramming from it. Well, that's great. I'm talking to the person that's going to be sent to detox and then sent to a treatment center, or that's in rehab right now, or some type of treatment center, or some type of halfway house. They're going to AA meetings. They're being indoctrinated. They're going to be indoctrinated with the new version, the plain language of, so us fifth graders on the fifth grade level can understand it. And I'll explain why. But here, the first edition was written in 1939. Now, they didn't reprint the second edition till 16 years later. I think I have the second edition here, 1955. 16 years later, they already changed a tiny couple words, kind of one story. Or the third edition, it changed in 1976, 19 years later. Well, still, the big book was almost identical. There was not much change at all in these editions. 2021, 25 years later, they had another reprint. Now they're reprinting these big books. That's 25 years later. Not much change at all either. The fifth edition, that's going to be this one. This is the fifth edition. It's a rewrite. It's going to be Plain Language Big Book. 24 years later, they decide to do this. 24 years later, they decide to change this antiquated 164 pages with a bunch of stories of old timers over 85 years ago. You know, it's 164 pages, really. And it's really not that complex. I don't really see it on a fifth grade. I don't really see it as 52% of us can't understand it. I just see that it's antiquated and it's not up to date. It's not up to time. It's not up to anything scientific or whatever, behavioral health information. Or so they had to come up with something. But wait till you hear the changes. Look, the book doesn't come out until November 7th. It'll hit the tables of Alcoholics Anonymous. Only printed in the US. They're going to print about 70,000 copies. Now, I called Intergroup around here in Southern California. They didn't even know what I was talking about. The guy didn't answer the phone. He don't even know if fifth edition is coming out. Plain Language AA Big Book. Okay. So it's going to hit the tables November 7th. Only in the US. Only in English to start. I don't know if anyone knows, but the big book is written in 70 different languages. So they're going to print this in 70 different languages. Now, it hasn't come out yet, so I'm indoctrinating the before it even comes out. Okay, I'm going to give my little spiel, what I think's happening. Just bear with me. And to all the viewers, please subscribe. I know sometimes I lose 2 subscribers. I gain 2 and I lose 2. I'm not, doesn't matter. I have a voice here and I'm not being silenced and I'm speaking out. It's helping me. It's really helping me release some of this stuff that's in my brain, and I let it out onto the internet. Everyone knows I do not edit anything. So what you get is what you see, what you hear. I don't edit. I don't even want to edit. I don't even think I know how to edit. Now, could I edit? Could I figure it out? Yeah, but I don't want to. That's the difference. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. Articulate. I'm not that articulate. I'm not that eloquent. People know it. I have a hard time. Let's see. Articulate means expressing oneself readily, clearly, and effectively. I'm not that great at that. I admit it. I'm trying to get a little better. I will for the audience. I'll do that for the audience to be able. And they're probably saying, Bobby, you're going all over the place right now. Yeah, I probably am. Let's get back. They started this about 2016. You're talking years ago. They started thinking about this and talking about it. 2021, they really came up with let's do it, because in 2021, General Service Conference recommended the update of the full draft of the plain language big book, which was reviewed at the 74th General Service Convention back in April. So you're talking 2021. 2024, it's being printed out. You think Alcoholics Anonymous is not organized? Think again. Think again. If you want to check something out, check out the Rebellion Dogs radio podcast and click in when you type into it, radio Rebellion Dogs podcast, plain language, new version of the big book. And you'll see how just when it's an atheist agnostic channel, what I don't understand, how atheist and agnostic are still in Alcoholics Anonymous. They didn't separate. I suggested this to many agnostic and atheist members to split off, get away from Alcoholics Anonymous because you're worshiping AA still. You believe that you're not worshiping any deities or you're not dogmatic, but you are if you're in Alcoholics Anonymous. I call them fake ass agnostics and atheists. Right out. I'm calling you fake ass agnostic and atheist because you're not, because you're still worshiping Alcoholics Anonymous. Bill W., Dr. Bob, Silkworth, and the rest. If you want to worship anybody, worship Rockefeller Jr. He's the one who designed it, created it, hijacked it, and that's why it is still today, indoctrinated through society. Because Bill and Bob, no. Let me tell you, they did a study. This is Alcoholics Anonymous spends money for these studies, okay? They did a study, was done in the US to find out the literacy level of people. Literacy meaning the ability to identify or evaluate one or more piece of information which requires different levels of interpretation of a text. And when they're talking about the text, they're talking about the big book text. It's so hard for us to understand. No, it's just antiquated and it's really stupid, okay? For nowadays, for today, 2024, okay? It had to be changed because they're losing membership. And I'll go through that. Yeah, they're losing membership. Okay. In the US, we have a little, it's kind of leveled off. It's kind of the same. It increased a little bit in the US. Okay. I'm talking worldwide. This is a worldwide organization, right? Canada, they lost 13%. Internationally, they lost 44%. Double-digit loss in the world. Okay, incarcerated, they lost 51%. Total, they lost 12.5% in membership globally. Here in the US, but listen to this, the number of groups increased. Membership is decreasing, but people love to start their own little groups and call it something different. Like it's different, like AA, agnosticas and atheists love AA Beyond Belief or Agnostica. Canada, Canada's big in this. They love to think that they are different because they're trying to eliminate the word God out of the big book. They won't do that. I'll tell you what they changed in the new version. They they know they changed a couple things. I know it. I know because I researched it. I know what they changed a couple things. Stay tuned for the real deprogramming of the plain language AA big book for fifth graders right here on Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming podcast. Because as soon as I get that book in hand, I'm going to be deprogramming it. As soon as it hits the AA table, I'm going to go buy one. Yeah, I'll go buy one. For my research, for people's research to help them deprogramming. No. Remember, I keep on saying AA is just a start. Most everything's a cult. Most everything is a scam. Most everything is a lie. So I'm deprogramming a lot of things. Don't just deprogram from Alcoholics Anonymous. That could be your first little step. Who am I talking to again? I'm talking to the people that maybe are researching. They created a habit. It became addiction. They want to uncreate it. They need help. Well, come over here. We'll help you. We'll help you deprogram you and kind of set you straight where different alternative programs. But like Bobby C always says, no matter where you go, you're always creating your own program. I don't care where it is. So the atheists and agnostics, they start all these other groups, little groups. You have this group, that group. You have groups for gays. You have groups for trans. You have groups for pilots. You have groups for this one and that one. And, there's so many different groups, smaller in numbers, but they think they're doing something special for them and eliminating the words God and stuff like that. No, they didn't eliminate God, believe me. They're not going to eliminate God. So here's the study. Okay, so they did a study, was done in the US to find out the literacy level. Okay. Different levels of interpretation of the big book text. Okay. They paid for this. Your money, your dollar, all your donations, every time you buy books, every time you buy literatures from Intergroup, bring them into the thing, you give them away. You think you're giving them away. We bought them. We paid for them. And I say we, Alcoholics Anonymous members, paid for them. I say we because I was in Alcoholics Anonymous for so many years. Yeah. Luckily, I was helping deprogram people when I was in there because I didn't really know that many different alternative methods. You're talking 40 years ago. So yeah, I was trying to help deprogram people for years and years and years. And when I became an old timer, they considered me an old timer. I didn't want to be an old timer. I wanted to be a bleeding deacon because the old timers would look at me and shake their head. Oh, Bobby, why are you saying that? Why are you going against the big book? Yeah, the old timers. And then the people that had, when I had 30 something, the people that had 25 or whatever, they didn't like me because I spoke out. I had courage enough to speak what I knew was not true. Okay. And I did it very nicely, caringly. I never disrupted a meeting or anything like that, but I put my message out. So losing membership. It's another reason why to write a book. Losing membership. Let's make some more money. Let's gain some more. Here's how we're going to gain more members by calling you illiterate. Okay. Listen to this. Experts have asserted the level required to read and understand the text of the big book. They have determined that it is correspond to level 3. That's what we are, level 3. Of a scale of 5. 5 being the ones that can understand the big book, us being 3s, 5th grade levels. We can't understand it. That damn thing is nothing but religion anyhow. It's A, B, and C is to get you to God, period. I don't care what any group you go to, you're supporting and worshiping Alcoholics Anonymous, who promotes the religion of AA. Okay, so scale of 3. Now listen to this. According to studies conducted in the US, remember, we're paying for these studies, 48% of the population was at level 3 or higher. 3, 4, 5, or higher. 3, better than 3. But Listen to this. This means that 52% of the population would not be able to significantly understand what is written in the big book. Bullshit. That's not why they need to rewrite it. No question about it. No question about it. But that's not the reason. The reason is they need to rewrite it to get to masses, to get to more people. Yeah, not because we can't understand it. It's to get to more people throughout the world and create a plain, simple version language. I'll give you a couple examples of what the new thing is going to be about. Because I have the in and I research it. Not 164 pages. The plain language big book is going to be 122 pages, condensed, but more sentence, smaller, more concise, more understandable, plain language. Okay. So, significantly understand what is written in the big book. Okay. The new big book will include stories. Here's more tips. Okay. Understanding that I'm deprogramming this before the book is even out. Please subscribe. Check me out over Anonymous Addiction, My Truth About AA as Bobby C sees it on Facebook. It's a private group. Come join us. Because sooner or later, they're going to yank me from Facebook. So come join us and help us out over there. So the new book, the new AA fifth grader book, will include stories of women, more women, instead of just, Marty Mann's story, 80 years ago, Marty Mann, who was the orchestrator, who was the puppeteer of getting and pushing this whole thing into educational. Well, really, Rockefeller was pulling the strings, and Marty and Bill and all the other ones were just they were just puppets of the grand wizard puppeteer. So the big book is going to have stories of women, youth. Yeah, because there was no really stories of youth, queer culture. Okay. So the gay and the lesbian and the trans, I guess, are going to be able to understand it like they can understand it, right? Let me get this out of here. So it's going to be for the queer culture too, and go beyond the American Christian culture of secular phobiaism. Secular phobia. In other words, beyond the Catholic doctrine, Christian doctrine. Yeah. Here's what they're going to do for us. Here's what they're going to do for you fellows out there, you illiterate 52% that can't understand anything. Here's what they're going to do for you. They're going to take out the word, let's see. They're going to take out the word him. They're not going to call God him anymore. They're going to say God, but they're not going to say him. That's going to help you out, okay? Because that's gender neutral, right? What do we got here? Prove your, no, we don't want to do that either. There we go. Wow, they're really popping up here. Holy mackerel, what the heck are they doing? So, gender balanced. 164 to 122 pages by simplifying the language, more gender balanced. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? I don't know. What does it mean to you? I don't know what it means. Gender balance. I know where they're going, but I'm not going to get into it. But they want to get the masses. We got to get more membership going. We're behind. God, you got Smart Recovery, you got Recovery Dharma, you got Moderation Management, you got all these other programs, all the recovery trap apps. I call them the recovery app traps. It's just like the recovery trap, recovery industry, the 12-step modality, paradigm, recovery trap. So, You got a lot of different places to go to. Harm reduction, Sinclair method. I don't even want to mention a few of the other ones. They're all making money, which I don't look, that's okay. That's okay. They're all making, as long as you know that they're making money, and long as you know you don't need a program, but they're creating a program. They're telling you you don't need a program of recovery, but they have created one with different levels. The $39.99 level, the $59.99 level, the $89.99 level, the 102 personal. Boy, you could come in and see us two, sit there and tell you everything you need to know level. You don't need any of that. It's all for free. The internet's free. You can research anything you want and go for free. You can check out all kinds of different stuff. Let's get back to this. Gender balanced. Listen to this. This is, you're going to laugh at this one. They're really making some changes after how many years? What did I say? 24 years later, they're going to really change this thing and get serious. They're going to make it plain language. Yeah, don't make it cooler. It'll be cool for the young people and the stupider people. Not really, but that's what they're saying. We're stupid because we're on a 5th grade level reading. Now, why did you even have to say that? Who did that study? You paid for the experts to tell me that 52% of us that look at this or go to meetings are illiterate? Isn't it enough? You say we're incomprehensible. We can't even comprehend it if we're not honest with ourselves. They just don't stop. Here's another thing they changed. Don't laugh. But I'm going to be, when I get the big book, I'm going to really get into it. Now I'm really get deep into it. Jaywalker. Remember the Jaywalker story? He was a man. He walked. It's like walking across the street. The Jaywalker, always walking across the street and never expecting to get. They changed that him to her or to a female. Big deal, right? We paid for companies all the dollars and all the chips and all the things that you buy. You're paying for the experts to figure that out. Why don't they just say that I wrote another big book and it was, it's more explainable and it's more up to date. My cocktail, mocktail, whatever it is, little juice, little seltzer, lemon, lime. Okay, so another reason to rethink it was declining membership, more books. Grapevine is where the money's made, plus all the donations. People give their wills, their houses, their cars, their boats. They donate. Family members donate thousands and thousands to clubs and AA. Grapevine, there's thousands of books and literature and tapes, and check it out. It's deep, really. So that's they're saying there's 2.9 million in recovery. I guess globally, hopefully. Recovery from what? Recovery from your addiction? That's just the start. Once you recover from an addiction, or once you start breaking a habit and getting more conscious, unconscious, raise your consciousness, awareness, enlighten, you become more aware. You can still be drinking, you can still be drugging. I'm not saying don't quit drinking and drugging. Me, I live an alcohol and drug-free lifestyle, but you don't. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you recovery is improving yourself, growing, learning, creating new different habits that are healthier for you. Harm reduction in that sense, I fully agree with. Poor people that are on the street, everybody says they have a right to be there. They have autonomy. Look, if they're on the street dying, we need to help them and do something, not just let them have autonomy and let them do their own thing, because they're not capable. If they're really bad on the streets, drug infested areas, that there's a difference. There's layers of addiction. We know that. Addiction is real. First of all, the most biggest addiction, once you break out of a drug addiction, alcohol and drug addiction, and learn more about the addiction to wanting more of everything, the addiction of wanting more, not getting. Once you get it, that's it. You want something else. That's the addiction of more. We could talk about that on another podcast. Yeah, there's 2 million, 2 million in Alcoholics Anonymous. Listen to this. McDonald's has 14,000 in U.S. 14,000 buildings. McDonald's in the U.S. Alcoholics Anonymous in the U.S. has 36,000 groups. McDonald's worldwide has 64,000. AA has 120,000 groups. I gotta get this and take it off. Groups, meetings. Okay, let's see what else we got. So atheists and agnostics, you could keep on taking things out of the big book, but you're still worshiping AA no matter how you cut it. It's still worshiping. You're still worshiping dogma. That's your dogmatic dogma indoctrinated system. I mentioned 5 years ago, 6 years. Separate, start your own groups. So they took out a jaywalking. Let's see where else we got here. Yeah, many people thought they'd never rewrite the big book. Really rewrite it. They put out different editions, but for lifetime people in AA, they'll never rewrite the big book. Yeah, they better rewrite it. They better, because they're going to keep on losing membership, and then they'll say, Bobby, AA saves lives. You're really hurting people. You may even kill people. No, I can't do that. It's impossible for me, for you to listen to this and go die because you listen to Bobby C. No, you do what you do because you want to do it. That's it. Yeah, this started back in 2016. They started to consider a new big book back. It took them that long. That's how multi-level complex Alcoholics Anonymous is. So it'll be hitting the tables, the fifth edition called Plain Language Big Book. The final draft. And I think I hit everything. So stay tuned. Oh, here's a little tip. Bill W. He never attended a big. They didn't even have big book. Bill W. never attended a big book study group. Never. It's not documented. Check it out. Go to these archive sites. Check out. You want to check out how complex. Go to Rebellion Dogs. It's an atheist agnostic podcast. They love AA. Oh my God, the historians in there. They just love it. Okay. So check it out. I'm going to be signing off. I just wanted to touch base with this new version that's coming out November 7th on the tables all around the U.S. in Alcoholics Anonymous. And you know that they're going to be printing the first 70,000. They're going to be circulating them. You know who's going to be grabbing them up? All the new rehabs, all the centers, the rehab centers that are making millions of dollars off of this recovery scam, this indoctrinated recovery. Oh, they're going to be so glad now that they got a plain language big book that they could sell. Alcoholics Anonymous is going to sell thousands of them to them. Thousands of them. And all the halfway houses, all the sober living houses, they're going to be all over. It's going to be the new thing. But there are a lot of AAs that are opposing it. They don't want it. They want to stick to the big book because that's the way we get sober. That's 75% success rate is through the old big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. What are they called? Big book thumpers? Yeah. Stay tuned for the next podcast on Anonymous Addiction Deprogramming Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe, please. Please. Thank you. Let me see if I could stop this.